Did you know that there is a Mongoose Ardor X1 29er? 29-inch wheels on the same alloy frame. If you haven't seen one, don't fret, because this is an experimental Ardor. My Ardor, where I decided to test out a few parts, including 29-inch wheels. So what you're seeing is one of my experiments, which I do a lot when I test out parts on my way to a project bike, but usually I just don't share it via video. But in this case, so many people have asked about 29er wheels, if they will work, or if there's going to be a 29er Ardor, so I decided to give it a go and share it with you. And this has been a long time coming. I've been trying to get this out to film, but no kidding, we've had 3 solid weeks of rain. And finally, a short break so I could get this out of the bike barn and do some filming, but I want to caution you, as with most experiments, there are hits and misses. And sometimes a hit and a miss together, for instance, my silver theme. Meaning a silver crankset paired with JG Bike silver bars, well actually not silver, titanium. Shoppers note these are marketed as both silver and titanium. I bought a set of each, they're the exact same color. I paired them with a titanium JG Bike stem. For grips, Rock Bros. And these I bought based on the color of the picture, and like the titanium bars, not really a perfect match, but they do lock on well and they have a good grip texture. Beside the right grip, the new shifter, which goes with the new rear group set, which I'll get to in just a moment. For brakes, I unboxed my very last set of not super expensive Shimano MT200 hydraulics. This headset I've shown in another video. It's Risk branded, it comes with sealed bearings, and it's perfect fit for this 55mm lower head tube on the Ardor. Now, I will mention that I paid under $20 for this set, but since I released that last video, I now see they're $28. But still not a bad price, considering these work with both a straight and a tapered head tube fork without needing to replace the lower cup, and also there's the pentagram on the stem cap. The fork that I chose for this experiment, a $99 air fork that I found on Amazon, the cheapest air fork I've ever seen, and it was sold by the same company that sells those Risk headsets, so I took the gamble, and what I received was a tapered 120mm version of a fork that I know well. It's a U-ding, a UD32. I used the straight steerer version of this fork way back in Project XR, and that fork's still going strong. And on the Ardor, this fork with 29er wheels lets slack get slacker. It also let me use the quick release 29er wheels that I've had forever, my very last set of Cycle Deal WTB 29er rims with Continental Cross King 2.2 tires. I used to buy these for $179 pre-pandemic. The good old days. The moral of the story though, 29 by 2.2 wheels fit the Ardor. Next new item, pedals. These are by PDX, and they kept showing up in my recommended item feed for $29. They're priced right between Raceface Chesters and Fukers. I bought them based on color, and they match nothing. So we'll see. The Claw. Now, I've had this for a few months. I purchased it off AliExpress, and the reason it's been sitting is because they didn't include a tension bolt. That's that little plastic thing. That aside, the build quality looks nice. It included the bottom bracket, and chainring, I used a Corky 32-tooth chainring on this, mainly because I couldn't find the black 30-tooth that I have somewhere. And whatever the tooth count, the chainring's gonna get a workout because my only spare chain is kinked, a stuck link. But the first day without rain in 3 weeks, I'm not gonna let that stop me, plus I'm only going a short bit. That aside, a 32-tooth up front and 8 speeds at the rear via a box 4 setup. I bought this because at the time I got it for $120, and I know economy box setups because I previously used the box 3 Prime 9, which I was less than impressed with. Lots of chain slap. But this is a box 4, so better, right? The cassette, it's an 11 to 42 tooth, and it has that extra gear giving this 8 speeds. That paired with the extra 2 teeth up front, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. I want to throw in here something about this quick release rear wheel because a few people have asked me if a quick release can replace the bolt-on factory wheel. Yes. Rear rotor, the Ardor's original, but up front, no Mongoose logo because this is a different rotor because the factory rotor came with a stripped rotor bolt head. Coincidentally, the only rotor I could find is also a Mongoose rotor. This is off the original wheel set from the XR Pro. If you're wondering why no dropper, well first, this is Experiment, not Project, but also I did have a dropper purchased and it came pre-broken. So what is that? 8 new changes if we group some of the items, the 29er wheel set of course being the biggest. Well, I wanted to get this out on the trail, but because of 3 weeks of rain, it is wet. And it's about to rain again, so I have about 15 minutes. Let me sum this up. First, the new ding. It's as good as the old ding, the UD32 fork. The claw, a little heavy compared to the IXFs, but solid, well built, and look good, super smooth, and yes, those are Mongoose socks. The Box 4, even with the skimpy kinked chain, it shifts out great. You know, even that Box 3 shifted well. And this 11 to 42 tooth 8-speed range is a good fit with the 32 tooth up front for all but the steepest hills on the trail. Some of that though, the bike's weight savings, even though not a goal for the Experiment stage, 29 pounds even. Unfortunately though, just like the Box 3, this Box 4 chain slaps galore. And keep in mind, I'm going super slow here. I'm trying not to slip on wet roots or get into mud, because I have to sit in my car after this ride, but this is tourney level chain slap, which is expected for a tourney. They're $12, but not a $60 box derailleur. You know, on second thought, I'm not even sure a tourney slaps this bad going this slow. Let me sum this experiment up. 29ers on an Ardor X1, it works. Now, it wouldn't go above 29 by 2.2 tires, but this, in my opinion, is a fit. My silver combo, you know, this doesn't show up on camera, that it's silver down low and kind of a champagne tint for that titanium up top, and this bothers me. I doubt anyone would notice it if I didn't point it out, but it bothers me, so no. That said, I do like the titanium color, so I'll hang on to this, maybe for a future use. I'll put a link to all these parts down in the description. Another note, these Rock Bros grips. Not that there's anything wrong with the grips as far as their grippiness, because they lock on well and they hold well, but the color is kind of a pinky red. The Risk headset, cheaper than a Fun, but does include sealed bearings, so that's good, and it works fine, but if I had the option between this or Fun, I would take the Fun for just a few more dollars. Getting a good air fork for under $100 would be a major accomplishment at any time, but especially right now. The fact that I got that, and it's an Uding, or a Uding, however you want to say it, and that the offset meshes so well with this bike, a double win. And trust me, if there was one person on this earth that was going to find fault in a 29er setup, it would be me. And I'm doubly surprised because the 29-inch wheels in the new fork did raise the bottom bracket, but it feels just fine. Since we're at the bottom bracket, I'll segue into the claw here. This is made by Pro Wheel, and this is a good kit. It comes with everything needed except that tension screw in my case, but I'm sure that was a one-off. Now this is 3 ounces more than an IXF, but it is priced about the same, so I guess it's whichever style you like. I do like this silver. And the Corky chain ring, I have to give this credit because it handled 15 minutes of a jittery and jumpy chain without any issues. Technically, so did the Box 4, as long as we're not talking about chain slap, which is its Achilles heel. You know, I'm thinking that maybe where they say limited slip clutch, they might want to put slip in bold. Because look at this, only 15 minutes and that's going slow. So a firm no from me on the Box cheap stuff. And I'll say no for the PDX pedals because, coloring aside, they do have good grip, but they also have an Achilles heel, and that's their weight. They weigh twice, almost twice, what a single race face Chester weighs. And now that I've shaken down a few parts, I know better where I want to steer this for its project build, and this is kind of the trial run, my behind the scenes peek at what you don't normally get to see, how I make it to a project build. But of course, the bigger picture and the main focus of this video is, will a 29er wheelset fit on the Ardor X1? I say so well that it makes me suspect something. We'll talk more about that in the future, but now I want to hear from you. Give me your thoughts on this build and a 29er Ardor. I gotta admit, I'm surprised because I'm a 27.5 guy, so comment with that. Do you pick Ardor 27.5 or would you like to see an Ardor 29er? And also, what do you think about box, the cheaper box setups? Are you as unimpressed as I am? Let me hear it. Thanks for watching and have a great day.